Hello guys, last week I stumbled upon a brilliant book written by Karl Ove Knausgaard, which is called Inadvertent, and it also has a small subtitle here which says Why I Write. If you have read any of Karl Ove's books, you know that he has a very unique style of writing, or it is better to say he has a very authentic voice that belongs just to him. And in this essay, which is 92 pages long, he tells us about his journey of becoming a writer. And for him, to be a writer or to be an artist in general means to develop a unique style and authentic voice which will distinguish you from everyone else. Something similar to what Marcel Proust or James Joyce had. In fact, Karl Ove imitated Marcel Proust, and he tells us a story of how he wrote 800 pages of novel and then burned the manuscript entirely because he believed that he imitated Marcel Proust too much. There was no authentic Karl Ove in what he wrote. In this essay, he unwittingly, or better to say inadvertently, tells us about how we can develop that authentic voice in ourselves. He tells us how he wrote some of his essays, including this one, and says what kind of rules he sets up for himself before he embarks on writing. He says that he set himself some simple rules. Each text should have as its subject one word, a thing, or a phenomenon. Each should be about 1 page long, and each should be written in one continuous movement, one sitting. So let's break it down of this technique that I believe you and I can apply in our creative process and improve ourselves. So the first rule, what he did, he said that he's going to focus on just one thing, on one phenomenon, one word. This reminds me of an example from my favorite film director, Federico Fellini. In 1960s, I think, he was recording his masterpiece called 8½. And some of his crew noticed that on the camera he had a brown piece of paper sticked to it, and on that piece of paper he wrote "Ricordati che è un film comico," which translates from Italian as "Remember that this is a comic film." All of us, including all great artists, are prone to digression. We often start saying something and then we digress and then we forgot what we said, and in the end we realize that we didn't tell anything concise to our viewers or readers. So the way to tackle this, something that Fellini knew as a film director and Karl Ove knows as a writer, is that first of all you have to choose what you are going to say and exclude everything else that you are not going to say. This is very important. So let's jump to the second part, and he says that each should be 1 page long. It is very important to set a limit to yourself. For example, in this video, I plan to make this video just 6 minutes long. If I have failed, you'll find it out. And the reason for this is that I also noticed that I digress a lot in my videos, that I plan 10-minute video and it becomes 14-minute video. So setting up a limit allows you to exclude what is not necessary, what distracts your viewer from following your story. Let's go to the third one, and where he says that each should be written in one continuous movement, in one sitting. And this rule is the most important one out of all those three. All of those three are important, but this one needs a particular focus, because the reason why he says that it should be written in one sitting is because it will allow you to tell what you genuinely think. It will allow you not to pause and think and overanalyze, especially if you're prone to overthinking. So the purpose of the last rule is to reveal your authentic self, and the purpose of the previous two rules is to allow you some limits, not to digress. There is a huge difference though between the first 2 points that Karl Ove describes and the last third one, because the first 2 points focus on what we need to do in advance of our creative process. We need to decide in advance what we are going to say and how much we are going to say, while the third point focuses on the creative process itself. And there is going to be a huge difference between what you will be capable to say if you decide to write something in one sitting and 2 or 3 sittings. I would say that if you know a lot about the subject and you tend to overthink, 1 or 2 sittings will work for your benefit. They will reveal your authentic self of what you truly think about the complex subject, while 10 sittings will allow you to expand more but will lead you to overthinking. I decided to apply this technique to my videos and focus on just one part of this wonderful book, which is very rich with similar advice, with similar kind of philosophical approach to writing. So if you would like to read it, I would really recommend it to you. I'll leave it down in the description of this video. If you would like more book recommendations from me, you can subscribe to my newsletter. It is a monthly newsletter. I share some of my favorite reads, summaries. I have a podcast where I interview writers, so you can listen to some of those podcasts. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you liked this video, and I'll see you in the next week, I think.